All right. And the next person up is Josh Muse. Come on, Josh!
What babies! You can have mine.
I've donated already. I couldn't see the Dia there. Or Dia. Sorry, I'm white. I don't know how to pronounce those names. I'm so glad Alberta Hospital gave you all day passes because we're about to laugh at some offensive shit, hey? That's why I'm dressed like a teacher. I figured I'd teach you some words. Some you heard already, some you haven't. Some I know you haven't. I'm so glad you all ate before this, too, because last time I was at Jester's, things got a little messy. My wife made me sleep on the couch, because why was she going to be near this embarrassment? I told her, this is love, baby. We're going to solve everything by ass eating at 50. But we'll get to that. Oh yes, we'll get to that. This is where I tell you I have a family. I have a beautiful daughter. She's turning 4. I have a beautiful wife. I've been married 4 years. Thank you. It's just another form of suicide, so don't flatter me, okay? I might as well die under a wife's thumb than my own. She is God. I raise her above all. Right? I figured this out because God can't be gay, right? I mean, who would make a man first? A woman, right? Politically correct. But let's just keep going with that. God's a man. So he's just making them, touching those abs, hey? Making those chiseled cheekbones. It's so good. Give him a nice, big, thick, long ego, right? Because that's what men think with all the time. They're dicks, that's it. I do. This is how I'm on stage. This is why I'm a comedian. What else could I think with? My heart? Oh, no. I'm too much of a degenerate for that. So let's get into our first word, rosebud. Does anyone know what rosebudding is? Hey, I'm good. The class is silent, everyone's learning. Now you can Google it right quick, it's like 2 seconds. It'll tell you this is an extreme form of anal sex to which the walls of the ass protrude and twist into this beautiful purple flower. And sometimes you can make out with it, things of this sort. So, it got me thinking. I go, you know, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up with the internet coming up. So I didn't really see a lot of this in 4K. But I saw a video that I had to share with a coworker of mine. Like, I was taking a shit, I won't lie, like most meme lookers do as you go through. And this one started, and this one finished. The end of my bathroom time. I had to run and show the people that they told me, the person that they told me was the darkest person where I worked. And I was like, I'm gonna show him this. Because he'll never have to take a shit again. He'll just hold it in. Do you wanna know what I saw, folks? I'll tell you. It's because it's just scarred in my head. And this is the best AA meeting I could ever go to. It's not in a church and there's dartboards behind me. So, the video starts off with a little fishing line, just shaking. And all of a sudden, there it is. 2 gentlemen on the bed, bent over, with one man and both fists just thrusting. And he pulls them out. And I go, oh my God, is there that much muscle in the... Okay, so he turns them sideways and he starts docking them purple and veiny and gross and mucus, and he's pinching them, and I go, I gotta show this to somebody. I run, and we get through like 3 seconds of the video before he goes, I'm going to HR. You're going to be fired because this is unacceptable. I go, listen, we can dock ourselves. We're 2 gentlemen. Let's not judge. That's love, though. And so I see these things, and I say these things at work, and they just cannot help themselves but go to the managers. And I don't know why. It's just the English language, that's all. That's it. So, you're wondering why I'm still married. Well, I don't know why. I make suicide jokes at holidays. I will definitely make a suicide. One suicide joke I made here was post-traumatic suicide disorder. Yes, I've tried to kill myself 7 times. Statistics Canada says you have to complete at least 20 times before you can actually get one done. So guess what? I'm already at 70%. Merking my way up to heaven. So I can just tell God, look what you did to me. You made me into a human KFC chicken bone. I'm skinny right here, and then I just bubble up, and I can't get rid of it. But this is why I do offensive comedy, because when I dress up and somebody kills me, I can leave a good-looking corpse. And you know, my biography won't read as good as Chris Benoit's, but I've been making that joke all season. Okay? And it's so funny because my wife's in Calgary right now, but I'm like telling people that, right? And people are like, she's in Calgary? Has he been making Benoit jokes? You don't think. And I go, no, I live in an apartment. They can hear them scream. I just cut the brake lines instead. So after this, I'm going to kill myself and make it number 8. And hopefully that one takes, because nobody should ever see this in public. Like my wife, she's like, I got to walk with you in this city. I go, you're right. Everyone's going to be like, hey, that's the rosebud guy. That's the guy that taught me about how it just protrudes and comes out like a purple flower, right? Oh man, it's a beautiful day to talk about this, isn't it though? All right. Well, exactly. No homo though, because this is 2019, and I will goddamn jerk off to transvestite porn if I can, but I can never, because they usually have a bigger dick than me, and I like to be in the moment. Okay, and I don't have the biggest dick, but I'm telling you right now, if I were to go in missionary style to a transvestite, transgender, I know the terminology. You go in, it looks like I got an even bigger dick, because I'm thrusting it. Whoa, holy shit! Right? Hey, hopefully it doesn't prolapse and I gotta push that shit back in, because I'm no good with, commitment. And I'm a terrible carpenter, so I'm no Jesus, all right? But I am religious. I do believe in a spirit. I do believe I'm going somewhere dark, somewhere like the hole that I crawled out of when I was like 30, right? Because it was my depression. It was my depression that forced me up here. Sometimes depression will react to different people. Sometimes other people go shopping. Some people, they go to fabric land, right? Everyone needs a good fabric, right? I mean, if you're gonna hang yourself with the best, you might as well get into a deep conversation about the thread count. Because those forensic guys take down a lot of suicides, and they just, if they go and be like, look at that thread count. Amazing. The guy at Rona, don't put him in your note though, okay? Because he gave you terrible service and you know it.
For sure.
So everyone seems a little tense, I understand. I've talked about some dark subjects. There's 2 things in comedy that I don't like. Rape and because I just don't care for that, right? But the 2 things that I thought shouldn't come together are cockroaches and bed bugs. You ever thought of that? Could you imagine a bed bug the size of a cockroach biting you at night? No one's just gonna shake that off, Look up your mattress and go, oh, good. Yeah, another bed bug infection. Okay, well, that's fine. Just cut it off. And if everyone's offended, and they call people snowflakes, I figured it out. So there's this thing called a boomer snowflake. Do you know what that is? Somebody who's offended by everything. The people that were at podiums going, PTA meetings and sex ed this and don't show semen and sperm in the same cup, like they were there. In the 2000s though, you cannot teach somebody that. They've already learned it. It's in their hand. They have that information. So here they are telling you jokes that will offend the boomers. But guess what? The boomers were offended before them. They just were offended of something else. If you gave a boomer in that time a cell phone to record things, what would you have? You'd have domestic violence. You'd have more violence. Violence. Today, you have premium Snapchat. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can only imagine being a 20-year-old being like, I'm retiring with a webcam, because I'm right there. I don't have a visa, but I like prepaid visas. Keeps me nice and anonymous. Here's your tips, ladies. And sometimes men that are pretending to be ladies because you got great tits. Why not? Give them 10 tokens. Boom, right?
2020.
Oh no, I don't think I'm gonna live past then. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a day, but I do want to leave you with one thing in mind to Google, another Google word. Fudgy crinkles.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
So Fudgy Crinkles came to me, well, once again, I was taking a shit.
Yeah.
And I stop on it, I go, what is this poem that I've just read? It is when you penetrate someone anally and it stays crusted to an uncircumcised man's foreskin. And when it's crusty and dusty, he pulls it back and makes this kind of, what's that wrapping paper noise? Right? I go, man, that's poetry, but I feel like you could get a business out of this. Okay, what business, right? I'll tell you what business. Could you imagine Fudgy Crinkle chips? Grab yourself a bag of Fudgy Crinkles, put them in your mouth. Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. As you're opening the bag, Fudgy Crinkles. And then somebody would have to pay that man that defined that so poetically. Mr. XXX Sex Dungeon Master XXX. Thank you for your Urban Dictionary definition of something that I never knew existed. And what's really funny about the Urban Dictionary is you gotta know what you're looking up. You can't just be like, okay, so power lift. Oh, okay, I can understand sex exercise move. Sex power lift. I can see this now. It's like somewhere along the lines of an Alberta gas mask and Bosnian seesaw. And so, do you know what a Bosnian seesaw is? Anybody? Putting your hand up? No? Yeah, Alberta gas mask, the man who knows, let's define it for the crowd. It's where you shit into a shower cap.
I didn't say I did it.
Well, no, but I'm saying I might. And you kind of go in there and you wrap it around your lover's head and you just pull him in close, or her, or it, or they, and you go, I love you, Alberta gas mask. And they should just be wearing I love Alberta oil. Right? Because that shit smells when it comes out, eh? Crude and dirty. And I'm talking about the oil. I'm not even talking about what's in the gas mask. So back to the Bosnian seesaw, though, is where you get a strap on. And you just kind of put it on, and you have your, your front person, your back person, and you just have that turned around. And you just go back and forth, and you can please it. I mean, think of this. How are you really going to lose stamina going back? No? I mean, you're working two things here. I'd say that's like complimenting them. Like, I'm never going to lose it here, but you're so good. You're so good. No? Okay. All right, well, I've been Josh Muse. Thank you very much. Don't clap.
Josh Muse, everybody.